Hey guys, over the past few months, we've seen PlayStation seemingly struggle with its messaging regarding the PlayStation 5. First, we had the logo reveal, then we had a fake conference with Mark Cerny, which turned out to be highly technical and not at all suited for the general public. All of this made Sony seem completely out of touch with their fans and appear to be caught off guard by the current crisis. Lastly, we had the controller reveal, which wasn't really well received. Meanwhile, Microsoft has already revealed what the Series X looks like. They've had a much clearer and customer-oriented messaging about its power, about its features, without being overly technical about it. And while we still don't have a price or a release date, there's a lot more information on the Xbox Series X than there is on the PlayStation 5, and perhaps more importantly, there is already a narrative going on that the Series X will be more powerful than the PlayStation 5. Whether that's the case or not doesn't matter. What matters is what people are saying about it. But last week, we got the first look at Series X gameplay, which was not only underwhelming, but I'd also argue was almost borderline deceiving. Do you think this is gameplay? With the camera shaking and moving all around? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think this is gameplay, because if it is, that looks like an absolutely terrible experience. There wasn't a single game in the entire presentation that really stood out. Nothing that you look at and say, I have to get an Xbox to play that. Well, mostly because you don't. A lot of what was shown is multi-platform. Dirt 5, Bloodlines 2, Yakuza Like a Dragon, they are all multi-platform games. Yakuza was even released a couple of months ago for the PlayStation 4 in Japan. Even Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was supposed to get a big exclusive look at the end, ended up being a no-show. What they showed was pieces of the already released trailer with some snippets of heavily edited cutscenes and gameplay, so nothing really. It's not clear what the intention was here, because they certainly didn't get any hype out of this event. If anything, they showed that they have nothing to show. And then, just a week later, PlayStation has managed to blow everything Microsoft has done so far completely out of the water with just two simple videos. First, we got our first look at something actually running on new hardware with the Unreal 5 engine demo, and it looks absolutely incredible. The detail, the interactivity with the light, the physics, everything is extremely impressive. And now, any doubt that the PlayStation isn't enough of a leap forward or isn't going to be powerful enough has gone completely out the window. Even if games don't end up looking this good, it's at least a measure of what can be accomplished. And as a comparison, this is the Unreal Engine 4 tech demo for the outgoing generation. It doesn't even look as good as games like God of War. So if that's the case, who's to say we won't be getting stuff that looks even better? Even though Microsoft is still calling their video first look Xbox Series X gameplay, which not only seems to be weirdly optimized for search rankings, but is a very poor description of what they showed, which, are basically in-engine cutscenes, this is the first clear look at the next generation of gaming, and the message is very clear. Don't worry about the capabilities of the PlayStation 5. The day after that, we got a deep dive into Ghost of Tsushima, showcasing some of the gameplay features from that game, which, had drawn some suspicion after not being shown or talked about for several months. I know this is a PlayStation 4 game and technically has nothing to do with the PlayStation 5, but hear me out. They showed Tsushima and it looks incredible. It doesn't look like it's going to be the most groundbreaking game out there, but the graphics are amazing. There is clearly a lot of detail put into the artwork, and the system that they showed off looked fun and engaging. It looks like a pretty awesome game. But more to the point, it looks like a PlayStation 4 exclusive. It looks like the level of quality that we come to expect from Sony and these types of game, and that's the core issue here. If you look at the track record, you have Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, God of War, Uncharted 4, Infamous Second Son, Bloodborne, Uncharted Lost Legacy, and even others like Ratchet & Clank or Tetris Effect. They are all good games. Some are even amongst the best games of this generation, and we know there's going to be a follow-up to God of War, and there's going to be a Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and those games will be on the PlayStation 5. Sony has built a machine around its studios, a machine that churns out games that almost always hit their mark. They have empowered their studios to be creative, to develop new IPs, and to try things out. PlayStation has always, as a brand, cared for weird little games like Katamari and Parappa the Rapper. Games like Rez are as much a part of the PlayStation DNA as their iconic symbols, and that has led them to improve and expand their exclusives through 4 console generations, allowing them to offer a wide variety of different quality experiences. Microsoft's production, on the other hand, has been pretty abysmal. Most of the new IP they developed was either cancelled before release or wasn't really well received once they did release. Throughout this generation, they've stuck to Halo, Gears of War, and Forza, and even going into next gen, they are still pushing the Halo franchise hard with Halo Infinite. I don't know who's actually excited for a new Halo game in a world where Call of Duty is a free-to-play game, in a world where Apex Legends and Fortnite are free-to-play games. But everything else they seem to do is mediocre at best. Crackdown 3 was delayed several times and turned out to be a poor copy of the first 2 games. Then you have stuff like ReCore, Sea of Thieves, Bleeding Edge, Dead Rising 4, and I have to mention something. As I was editing this video, I tried to get footage of these Xbox exclusive games, and it's been very hard to find official videos showing off gameplay of any of these games. I can look into the PlayStation channel and find gameplay footage of almost any game, but for Xbox games, it's been almost impossible. What possible reason could they have not to show gameplay of their own games, I wonder? It's not all bad, of course. There's Ori and the upcoming Flight Simulator, but they've started to buy their way into exclusives by acquiring studios with games already in development. And now, with the global crisis that we're going through, we know games will get delayed. So while Sony is probably 3 years into the development of a new Horizon game, Microsoft is trying to jumpstart its production at the worst possible time. Some people might say that all of this doesn't matter. Microsoft will have their games on PC as well, so it doesn't matter if the Xbox sells or not, because what they want to sell you is their subscription model. What they want is for you to buy Game Pass, and I don't really think that's true. Be it the Series X or Game Pass, both are only as good as the games you get to play, and if the games you get look like the upcoming Battletoads, then I think most players will give it a hard pass. And as I mentioned on one of my previous videos, the Xbox app for PC is such an unusable mess that I doubt anyone that tries it out will be satisfied with the experience, so things aren't looking too sharp on the PC front either. Microsoft is pushing the hardware and the messaging fight. They want to get out there and show you how cool they are, that they've embraced the Xbox refrigerator meme, because that is literally all they have. That's the only thing they can sell you on at this point. And in some ways, it's succeeding. Their messaging has been really good so far, but when it comes down to it, all that matters is the games. The Nintendo Switch has already outsold the Xbox, despite being released 4 years later. 4 years, and why is that? Because it's the most powerful console? No, that would be the Xbox One X. It outsold the Xbox because it has some damn good games that make you wanna buy one. The Xbox, not so much. I don't even want to imagine what will happen if it turns out that you can play PS1 and PS2 games on the PlayStation 5. The amount of amazing games in either catalog dwarf the offerings for the Xbox and Xbox 360, many of which you can already play on PC or through some sort of remastered version. My prediction is that Sony will show us a couple of trailers of the games they have planned for the PlayStation 5. They will show a God of War 5 trailer and a Horizon Zero Dawn trailer, and even if it's just a CG trailer or a logo, it will be good enough for most people because you know what to expect. You can go off your past experience and know that they'll be good. Anything Microsoft shows will have the shadow of cancellations and mediocrity casting over it, and that will be really hard to leave behind. Okay guys, that will be all for now. Do you think the Xbox has anything up its sleeve, or will the PlayStation dominate once again? Leave your comment down below and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. And if you have the time, you might want to check out the other videos on the channel and consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.